Today, I am officially 2 months into remission from stage 4 metastatic melanoma for the third time in 7 years. That means 3 times since the age of 30, I have beaten this cancer into remission, into no evidence of disease. This doesn't mean that I'm cured. This doesn't mean that everything is okay long term. And in fact, today's video is not necessarily going to be about my case, even though I'll describe it in detail. Today's video is for you if you have been diagnosed with cancer or if someone you know is going through it, because I want to talk about the implications of hearing those words. You have cancer. What goes through your brain is unimaginable. It's complex, it is gut-wrenching, and most of all, it is uncertain. You immediately start thinking, okay, I'm going to die. This is what gets me. And then you start to calm down a little bit, but it's still negative. You start thinking about how you'll be crippled financially, physically, mentally, how your family is going to feel, how it's going to affect the people closest to you, how it's going to stop you from living out your dreams. There is some pushback. You start thinking about how you're tough, how you're going to fight this. But most of all, your brain goes blank because how can you imagine a future living with cancer? It's not something that we're designed to do. I've gone through it 3 separate times, and while, yeah, the third time I was a little bit better at handling it than the first one, I still ran through all these thoughts. It is still an unenviable and almost unimaginable position to be in because cancer is still one of the most aggressive and deadly diseases that humans know. There are many cancers that have cures, but there are very few cancers that are open and shut cases. Every cancer has a recurrence rate, a survival rate, and every cancer treatment has some sort of long-term price to pay if you are able to survive the short-term damage that these agents cause on your body and, of course, on the cancer that you're trying to exterminate. And in fact, I think that's a good place to start the kudos in this celebratory video. I would like to shout out modern science and the people who apply it in the form of life-saving medicine, aka immunotherapy and targeted therapy for metastatic melanoma. 20 years ago, the 5-year survival rate for stage 4 metastatic melanoma was less than 5%. That means if you got stage 4 melanoma, only 1 in 20 people in your situation would be alive in 5 years. As I sit here today, I am almost 8 years into 3 diagnoses of stage 4 metastatic melanoma, and I am currently in remission, which would have been unthinkable because there were not any treatments that could combat melanoma into durable remission until immunotherapy came along. And even as that has progressed, it is still a very, very unlikely feat to get stage 4 melanoma into long-term durable remission. And fuck, I'm still trying 8 years later, but it seems like I have an okay shot. The first time I was diagnosed, I was 30 years old, and I had no idea what the process of being a cancer patient would be like, as I had only been exposed to cancer like conceptually. I had 2 cousins that got it in their 20s, both of them beat it. I think it was leukemia and lymphoma, and for the most part, I just knew what I saw on TV. The people that were lying in a hospital bed, gaunt with a trach tube, and I was like, yeah, that's a sick person. That's what a cancer patient looks like. And all of a sudden, I was one of them, and the thought occurred to me, I have no idea. Will I look like that? What will my life look like when I inevitably come out on the other side of this? Because when I was diagnosed, that was the ultimate thought I got to. I am going to beat this. I just don't know how. And tossing aside all the audacity of saying I'm going to beat stage 4 metastatic melanoma for the moment, because while I did think that, there's no guarantee that I was ever going to get through this. It required a lot of good circumstances, good support, and good fortune along the way for me to even have a chance to beat it once, let alone 3 times. The first time when I was going through treatment, I did not know where to look for a North Star. I didn't know that there were people documenting their journey on social media. I didn't know that there were support groups to help stage 4 cancer patients. I was just isolated in my own brain the entire time. And when I got finished, and I subsequently learned that these resources might have been available, I made a commitment that if I were ever in the situation again, I would try and get outside my bubble, talk to more people, and give myself the best chance of success. And incidentally, I created this blog by accident while reaching out and essentially asking for help. And since then, I've decided that if I can be the example, because there are 2 million people diagnosed with cancer every single year in the world, and I don't know the statistic for stage 4 metastatic melanoma patients, but I know that if there is one person who can watch this today in any form of cancer diagnosis and say, I relate to this, I understand, I can see where this is going, this is a 37-year-old dude who's been through it 3 times and he's still ticking, that's good enough for me. I want you or your loved one or whoever is stressing about getting a cancer diagnosis to look and see that I am in a great case scenario for how this could have gone. Could this have gone perfectly? Could I have gotten treated and been done, after one time? Absolutely. But I've made it through 3 separate diagnoses in 7 years. I'm about to get engaged. I just bought a house. My finances are still intact. I have great friends and family who didn't run away from me, which is a common thing that happens in cancer diagnoses. And most importantly, I'm describing all of these things with a life that still feels like mine. I'm describing all these things with a future that still feels like it has possibilities. And I know there have been plenty of times throughout my cancer diagnoses and treatment where I legitimately felt like cancer was eroding my identity or stealing my future or making it so that I wouldn't have the agency that I had always had. And Yeah, it has been difficult at times. I mean, go back and watch any of my videos from the last couple of years. As recently as a few weeks ago, I was sitting here complaining about how I was mopey and depressed and how cancer is weird. And all these things are true. I would never want to sit here and say, oh, I beat cancer 3 times and it's super easy. Just show up, get some things injected and go on your way. It is a lot more complicated than that. The mental health side of being a cancer patient is excruciating at times, and it is grindy at others. And at best, it is going to be the weirdest and most difficult thing you've ever gone through. And I think that understanding that is a good tool to help you get through it. But the important thing is I'm here describing it, and I'm here celebrating getting to 2 months in my third remission. And I don't think anyone would push back at any reason I gave for celebrating being in remission from stage 4 cancer. But the last one I think is important. I made a video for 1 month in remission. This is my video for 2 months in remission. During my last 15-month remission, I made a video every single month. Because if I keep doing this and the number keeps growing into something really annoying, like I hope that I can be at my 200th month of remission and someone can go, holy shit, are you still making these videos every month? And I can look them in the face and be like, yeah, man, 200 months in remission, which napkin math on that is something like, what, 16 years? Yeah, 16 years down the line, I'm still making a monthly remission video. I will feel that that is very successful. I promise 16 years from now, I can look back at this video and be like, you promised. So hold me to that. 16 years from now, whoever's watching this right now, hold me to it. I will still be making my monthly remission videos. But seriously, I think that there's no point in not celebrating these milestones because cancer inherently threatens our time more than anything else. That is what having a chronic and deadly disease will do. And so when we're afforded more time, even if it's not guaranteed, like I have no idea how much peace I'm going to find in this remission, how long this remission will be, if it's going to be durable. I sure as hell hope so, but I obviously don't know. So anytime that I'm looking at blue skies, anytime I have a runway for my life to be potentially not super impacted by cancer, I'm going to be stoked. So here I am, 2 months into remission, telling you what it's like to experience the swirl of negative and hopeful thoughts in your brain and see how they're distilled over the course of years of treatment into remission and letting you know that those thoughts still swirl. This is not a perfect situation by any means. I would never sit here and tell you that being a stage 4 cancer patient who just made it to remission feels safe and secure, but it feels better because I've gone through the hardest parts so far, and I know that if I have to face harder parts down the line, I have all the support and experience and modern medicine on my side to continue to give me a better chance. And at the end of the day, given what I heard almost 8 years ago, this is a situation that I'm very happy to be in. And I think that's a wonderful place, both for myself and for anyone who's watching this. If you have cancer or if you know someone who's going through cancer, I want you to understand that there's someone who has been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer 3 times in 8 years and is sitting here telling you, I'm in a wonderful place. This is a situation that I'm happy with. There's so rarely perfection within human life, and I think that when we're cruising through during what seems like status quo, we just assume that, nothing is going to get in our way. I can't draw back to the last time I felt like that because it's been, 7+ years. But even if I get my own way sometimes, it feels like I'm trending up, and I want you to know that that is a possibility. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for spending your valuable time watching me talk about how I'm cancer-free. It feels good for me. I hope it felt good for you. And if I can help you or your loved one going through it, I'm happy that I did so. In the meantime, I'm sure I'll be back with more things to update about my case. I go in for a consultation for a hip replacement tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll hear all about it soon. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time. Bye.